Hello, everybody, and welcome to Curtis's Podcast Network and this AFC South show. Yes, we are live, unlike your grandmother, but here on the channel, we are here to talk about all the free agent moves that have happened in the past few days. The legal tampering period. Is it basically the new early signing day in college football? Basically, yes. But also trades galore. So, if you're a Texans fan, head on over to That Real Texas Team podcast, subscribe. You can find me more over there. With me, as always, my resident Jaguars fan, Isaiah, a.k.a. Duval's finest, a.k.a. the Glitter Kitty Conquistador, a.k.a. the host of Third and Teal, and the source of your mother's wet dreams.
Ooh.
How are we doing tonight, Isaiah?
I would be a lot better if we didn't get our ass kicked in softball, but here I am. I played well. That's all that matters. Everyone else sucks. Just kidding. You're great. If you're watching this, I really enjoy my time with you guys. But no, I know you're not watching this, so I don't care. But yeah, no, football. Jaguars, good.
That was the most high-powered response I've ever heard in my life. Down here at the bottom right, holding it down, representing our Colts this evening is Justin, a.k.a. Kingmaker_DFF, and you can find him all across all the social medias at that handle. Justin, how are we feeling? What's Unstabled's vibe right now with the free agency?
Man, we're just happy that Chris Ballard's alive. I mean, just to be honest with you, I mean, he actually did something, so I'm pretty happy about some of our defensive signings. Could Indianapolis have a new starting quarterback on their roster in 2025? Only time will tell.
The answer is yes. When AR gets hurt, inevitably, or tapped out of the game. Down here at your bottom left, co-host of Titans Table for Two, the new CPN offering for all things Titans, is Andrew. Andrew, how are we doing this evening? You guys have been busy.
Yeah, especially today. Yeah, slow little walk into it, and had some big moves today. Super excited, ready to talk about it, man.
Hell yeah! Well, make a point, y'all, to go ahead and touch all four corners of the CPN universe, and then reach out even further. Hit the satellite planets that are Kingmaker and Eric. Eric has launched his own YouTube channel, Let's Talk the Video Files. Subscribe, notification bell over there. I'd like to see Eric's channel grow and succeed. With that being said, gentlemen, it's Wednesday night here at the start of the new league year. Who is feeling the best right now after free agency is officially open? Who's feeling the best? Officially.
Honestly, I think the whole division has some rooms to be happy for sure. I mean, I think we're all hopefully expecting a few more moves, but I mean, I know I feel happy with the moves that we made for sure.
Yeah.
Even if it was just signing our own people, for me, bringing back Sebastian Joseph Day was a big move for us. I think if he's the third best starting D-line on your 3-man D-line, you got a good D-line with Sweat and Simmons. He complements them well. Got some depth back. Brought our long snapper back, always important.
True.
And I think at first everybody was really upset when they let Ryan Stonehouse go because he's been a pretty good punter. He didn't have his best year this past season, out kicking his coverage a lot and not getting enough hang time. But still a fan favorite. But then they brought Johnny Hekker in, who might not be the Hekker he was, but he's still a really good punter. Former All-Pro. They signed Cody Barton, the linebacker. Really just kind of taking the spot from Kenneth Murray as they traded him to the Cowboys to move. They just gave up a 7th and got a 6th in return. He was going to get cut anyway. So if you can get something out of him and move up in the draft, I think it was like 53 picks. I'll take that all day. The big two would be Dan Moore Jr. and Kevin Zeitler, just really solidifying that offensive line. But Dan Moore, I mean, being an average left tackle, he started off the season above average when Justin Fields was back there, and then kind of trickled off towards the end of the season. I think a lot of that has to do with Russell Wilson. He takes a lot of sacks, So,
Yeah, those are big, man. Kevin Zeitler and Dan Moore. God
so
dang it.
yeah,
That's good, bro.
Kevin
Your line's
Zeitler.
going to look really good.
Yeah, he slides into the right guard. Dan Moore slides into left tackle. JC goes back to the right where he was at in college. So really just finally feeling better about our offensive line. Brought Van Jefferson in, cheap $2.5 million a year deal. Just 1 year too. So, and he can be a solid number 3. He's not going to like anything crazy, but he can take the top off of defense. He has that 4.39 speed. Able to go deep if you need him to. Definitely going to look to add to the receiver position in the draft, or maybe another free agent. Elijah Moore's out there. I know a couple of us are waiting on to see what Cooper Kupp goes to. Draymond Jones was the latest signing. I'm high on this one. He only had 3 sacks, but he had let me look at this exactly. 3 sacks. I had the numbers written down. Hold on. It's like 45 pressures and 30 hurries or something like that, like still in there. And he actually had, now I'm not saying he is this guy, but he had a higher pass rush win rate than Max Crosby did last year. So he's a guy, he's very versatile. He can put his hand in the dirt, or he can go to the edge. He kind of reminds me of Danico Autry when he was here, and you would know about Autry a little bit, but very versatile, can rush from all sides of the line, in and out. So that was a big one for me. Because we were hurting at edge, especially with Landry leaving. We still need another 1, maybe 2. Depending on what they do with Arden Key, because I think Key can be a third situational guy to come in and give some guys some rest. And then we got Xavier Woods, because new day.
Hooked.
No, but Xavier Woods from the Panthers, very durable. Maybe not amazing at anything, but he's really good across the board. He plays every snap. So good to be back there with Amani Hooker. The defense is coming together. I think your other inside linebacker spot, you're really hoping Cedric Gray or James Williams takes a step forward to play next to Barton. And then you're going to have to go get an edge. Now, I do think with all these moves, because I always thought we would sign a veteran quarterback by now to at least be like a backup or something, but it really points to us probably going quarterback that first overall pick, which is probably Cam Ward. That's what it's looking like, unless someone's coming up with King's ransom for that pick.
Yeah, no, I'm completely on board with you. If the Titans stick and pick at number 1, it's going to be Cam Ward. I feel like he gives you the best day one play, whereas Shadur Sanders gives you maybe more growth over time if you surround him with enough people. So if the Titans are trying to win as much as they can, as soon as they can, I feel like Cam Ward is the move.
Yeah. The biggest thing with all these signings, other than Dan Moore, most just all of them are pretty much 1-year deals or deals you can get out of after 1 year. It's really shaping up to have a lot of cap space next year.
Yeah.
Is what it's looking like.
It feels like they're kind of copying the Nick Caserio formula of 1-year deals.
Yeah.
It's continued into this offseason as well. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of been working for the Texans. So it makes sense that people would be using it elsewhere.
Yeah, the Commanders kind of did that last year too.
Yeah.
They'll fill the holes.
Yep. All right. So with all the moves that have been made with the free agency so far, how do you feel as if that's changing your draft? I imagine you had like a preconceived notion of what you were going to draft before free agency. What does that look like now?
So I think, like I said, first pick, I think it points toward the quarterback. I think there was some question. Maybe Abdul Carter. I think the Draymond pickup kind of pushes, because Orgonzi has said in it, and we've talked about it, it's a really deep edge class. So if you got someone you think can be, because he's a starter worthy player, the sack numbers might not be there, but like I said, the pressures, hurries, the win rate are all there. You can go get a Landon Jackson in the second, or either the Ohio State guys or Princely from Ole Miss. There's some really solid pass rushers in that top of that second round. We still don't have a third. We have 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 6, and there's some good receivers in there too. Yep. You're not going to go in there with Van Jefferson and Calvin Ridley. I like Bryce Oliver as an undrafted cat that we had that made some strides, but you got to got to improve. Nick Westbrook Akine left for the Dolphins, so that's been our number 3 for a while. So I could look them probably signing another receiver. Like I said, I've heard they're in the Cooper Cup. Who knows? They seem like they've been really looking at players that are durable and haven't missed a lot of games, and Cooper Cup doesn't really fit that mold over the last couple seasons. I would like Elijah Moore if they're not going Cooper Cup. I think that's a decent 2 to 3, and you can go get another guy in the draft, fill that wide receiver room out. But I think the way the team's looking right now is quarterback first round, defensive end, or edge second. Unless a guy like, and it's seen it in mock drafts, like Luther Burden were to fall to the second. I've seen that. I've seen this whole place where Egbuka kind of falls out of the first. If one of those two guys fall to the second, then I can see them going receiver second.
Okay.
I actually wouldn't mind them trading down in the second and picking up a later second and a third.
Yeah, they do need one after that Levis trade. This is the last pick of that Levis trade up in the second round from a couple years ago.
Well, this third round pick we don't have this year is because we traded for L'Jarius Sneed last year.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The Levis thing is done, I believe. But yeah, we traded our third to Kansas City last offseason for Sneed.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense. Fair enough. Justin, how are the Colts looking after free agency's opening gun has fired? Obviously, this is a Colts team that's GM has historically not tried to spend a lot of money, except for bringing back players. Was it two free agent signings that are probably day one starters out the gate?
Yeah, and that's gonna be Cameron Bynum at free safety and Travaris Ward at corner. We needed those. Needed that. Defensive back was probably it was my biggest concern going into the offseason. I'm so happy that he didn't just go sign some scrubs. He actually went and signed 2 good name guys that still, have some youth on their side. I know Travaris Ward's, 29, almost 30 years old, but he got him to pretty much some strong contracts, 3 and 4 years. So I don't think that's going to be a strong position that we're going to need to go into the draft needing. But we still have some concerns. I mean, offensive line right now is my biggest concern. Losing Kelly, losing Fries, like the only thing you did was you re-signed Danny Pinter at center. So I do think that now the focus has shifted away, because I know me and Jeff talked a lot about Malachi Starks and how I'm still a Malachi Starks believer. I do think that you can still go Malachi Starks because you need 2 safeties. So if at 14 we're up on the draft, I'm still going Malachi Starks if you have a tight end available. Now, if there's one of the top linemen fall to you, then maybe that's a different situation, then I would look at that, because offensive line, I mean, it doesn't matter who you got at quarterback. If they're on their back, it doesn't matter. So I'm not going to be big on tight end, even though I do think I would have liked to see them go after Evan Ingram. Now, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I don't know if there was conversations with his agent or not, but I would have liked to see bring in a guy like Evan Ingram, who has got a proven track record. He's in the AFC South, so he can come in, even though he has never played under Liam Cohen's regime. So it's not he knows the offense and like that. I just think Evan Ingram is a good tight end. He's been in the league long enough.
Sorry, not to interrupt. Well, while we're live, there's a new signing by the Colts.
Oh, yeah? Wow! Breaking news.
Breaking news.
You need the
I know.
Neville Gallimore from the Rams, 1-year deal, defensive tackle.
All right, so
Doesn't have a great PFF grade, but fills a hole, depth.
Yeah, I mean, it gives us depth behind Grover Cleveland. Grover Stewart. Sorry.
Diggs.
I'm not happy about that. It doesn't really change
It's
anything.
just a depth piece. Your D line's
Exactly
decent,
Yeah, and that's the one thing we don't need to worry about. We actually have a good depth, especially on edge. With them drafting Latu last year.
Yeah.
Like I'm good at defensive line. I wouldn't mind them going after an outside linebacker. I kind of wanted Greenlaw, but that didn't work out. But
He got more money than I thought he was.
yeah, Greenlaw was something that I would have liked to see, but I'm not crazy about it. I mean, we brought in a backup running back, Khalil Herbert. You know,
I like him. I like him.
yeah, so he was a big hot ticket item in Dynasty when he was with the Bears. And just because he's shifty and everything like that, I think he'd be a good backup for sure.
Yeah.
Because we need a solid backup. Like you can put Khalil Herbert in there, and you're not guessing. It's we've had Trey Sermon, and you're not like, oh man, is he going to do okay? Like I think Khalil Herbert can go in. He's not going
JT's
to put up.
good to miss a game or two every year. So
Yeah, I mean, so don't get me wrong. He's no JT, not even close. But
no, but he can definitely fill in better than Trey Mason.
right, and you can use him. He's not one dimensional, so that's good. That's always good. Bringing back Ashton Doolin, definitely a good depth piece at wide receiver. Our wide receiver room is really, really good. So bringing back Ashton Doolin's good, keeps that chemistry. He's got that relationship with Anthony Richardson, and he's good on special teams. So they brought in a quarterback that's got a huge question mark over his head, and that's one Danny Dimes Jones. Everyone kind of remembers Daniel Jones from tripping over his own feet, just over nothing, maybe a loose blade of grass, something like that when he played with the Giants.
Yep.
He's got speed. We know that. Is he going to be an Anthony Richardson type player? No. But I kind of think that he's learned from his mistakes in the NFL. He came in, he beat out Eli, who was going to be a future Hall of Famer. And I think that gave him a big head. You know what I mean? So I think this kind of humility, bouncing around another couple, 2-3 teams, I think this has been a wake-up call for him. And now he's going to come in here. And they're saying he could compete for the starting job. I don't think that that's going to be the case because they're still wanting to see what they have in Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
So, but worst case scenario, you've got how do I put this? A less athletic Anthony Richardson with a better passing ability. Maybe not stronger arm, but better passing ability.
Yeah.
So if you do have to change, you can do that. You can still draw up bootlegs and everything like that for Daniel Jones, and it'd be fine. They lost some, like I said, losing those two linemen, man. That's our biggest loss. Going into the draft again, I would focus on still your defense. Maybe put an emphasis maybe on outside linebacker now that you have Ward and Bynum. And I wouldn't really look at tight end unless it's just hey, it looks beautiful. Starks is gone. There's not really any linemen that you love, not any like outside linebackers you love. Then okay, go Warren, or even like I like a guy Colson Loveland. I think he's really good.
Yep.
But I think you could probably get a Colson Loveland or especially a Harold Fannin Jr. later on. But as far as it affects the draft, yes, you still need offensive line in my eyes.
I don't think Warren makes it out of the top 10. Maybe
No.
top.
Probably not. But the thing is this class is so deep at tight end that
It is.
you like Colson Loveland, Harold Fannin Jr. I like Mason Taylor a lot. Like after seeing him at the combine and watching some of his film, I like Mason Taylor. So I'm not scared about taking a tight end later in the second, third round.
Get him. That's pretty cool.
So or trade that number 14 for a couple seconds, man, and dude, have some business. I mean, I know not a lot of teams have multiple seconds, but still, like,
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Offensive line, and then if you have to take a tight end, take a tight end.
Robert in the comments brings up a good point. 2 QBs, flip a coin. I always grew up with the expression, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you really have none.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that shakes out up there in Indy. Eric over here on Let's Talk, the video files. Why hasn't anyone signed Stephon Diggs yet? The ACL injury, he's 32 years old. You don't know how he's going to bounce back. that happened in late October. So what we're like 4-5 months removed from that. He's
A lot
probably
up in the air still, yeah.
a lot up in the air.
He's going to be a closer to training camp signing, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Post draft.
Robert comes back and says Texans will trade up for all the O-line. That would be hilarious. But this line, the O-line class this year is so deep for the interior. I would not be surprised at all if they draft 2, maybe even 3 interior offensive line players, and then just kind of shuffle everything around throughout camp, preseason, and maybe the first few weeks of the season until a good starting lineup has been manufactured.
The theory is just get the 5 best out there.
Exactly. And then just let them do their thing.
Yeah.
With that, let's take a pivot. Let's look at what is going on in Duval County. Isaiah, fill us in. There's been moves, there's been trades. Let's talk about it. Or not.
He's warming up over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got rid of Christian Kirk, and he went to the Texans for a 7th round pick. Woo!
Steal
we
for the
signed a couple
Texans.
guys. I think we'll see. He's gonna get locked up. It's fine. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. So like Jaguars fans, relax. James Gladstone in his first press conference said we're going to be a build through the draft kind of team. And it talked about raising the floor in free agency and raising the ceiling in the draft. And that's exactly what they're doing. They cleared out a shit ton of cap space. After all 9 signings were officially on paper, we were still like 13th in cap space, going from 7th to 13th. So we still have a good bit of cap available. Now, even let me pull it up. Mike Garafolo, is that his?
Garafolo.
Yeah, he even put out a thing for NFL Network saying that Cooper Kupp is likely to find a new home within the next 24 hours, and that he has significant interest in the Jaguars, and that's who they are mostly specifically linked with. And he said there are, of course, other teams interested, but there's likely going to be a new deal by the end of today or early tomorrow. So likely at this point it'd probably be tomorrow, but sometimes Jacksonville likes to announce shit at like 1 a.m, so we'll fucking see.
Wake up to it.
That would be cool to have. I mean, I think if Jacksonville gets him, I think on paper without Tank Dell being around, they have the best receiving core with Brian Thomas Jr., Cooper Kupp comboed there. Only I would put the Colts at first, honestly, if Michael Pittman Jr. could catch a touchdown inside of the 20-yard line. He is the most useless 6'5" person I've ever seen in my entire life. He tears up the Jaguars from like 60 yards out twice a year, but he cannot score whenever they get inside the 20, even though he weighs more than any cornerback in the NFL. But honestly, though, I think it would be a good one for us. I really don't know what Coop has in the tank. If he stays healthy, that'd be awesome, but that would be a cool one for us. Apparently,
I think at the very least he's a solid safety blanket. He's still a great route.
Absolutely.
You're not going to lose that. Like, he might not be as fast, might not be able to jump as high, but like he has always been a precise route runner.
That's the thing about him. He's never been the fastest guy.
He's
never been the big
guy
contested
anyway.
guy. You know, he runs clean, crisp route.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Keenan Allen a little bit, where like he runs a really good crisp route and creates separation off of his good cuts, but he's not outrunning anybody down the stretch.
No.
That would be cool though. Again, still, up in the air. We don't know exactly what's going on with that, but it seems like that is gaining traction. But the 2 tight ends we brought in, good blockers, not amazing pass catchers from what we've seen. But there's still more time for that. The center, Robert Hainsey from the Buccaneers. I think people are over exaggerating like the fact that he got beat out by Graham Barton. I mean, Graham Barton's an inch taller and 20 pounds heavier at center. He's a young guy that came in and like they weren't paying Hainsey basically anything. So him coming into Jacksonville, he played guard and center for them last year. He's versatile. The right guard from the Ravens, Makari, I believe is his name. I keep calling him Meraki, but Makari. He played on every single in the past like 3 years. He's played every single position on the O-line for the Ravens, and he's played a lot last year in the right guard position. I like what he did last year. But It's you're talking about Cup, or are you talking about? Anyways, not. Oh, that was 3 minutes ago. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I think we did a good job kind of raising the floor. I think De'Ami Brown. It's going to be interesting to see how they use him. I think that he honestly did not. I don't think he really got a fair shot in Washington. Like his rookie year, he kind of got a little bit, and then they just like traded and drafted guys to go over him.
Whoa. Hold on. A girl just entered the chat. That's crazy.
Is that a
Hey,
woman?
Go ahead, hit the like and subscribe. 'Cause,
Good, man.
that's
my
awesome.
wife, guy.
Well-
Dude,
Welcome to
Hey.
the chat. Welcome to the chat.
that's my wife.
Hey.
Let's go. It's not just Macy anymore. Let's go.
Oh, he's been hold.
All right.
My wife doesn't watch my shows.
No, mine doesn't either. Don't worry.
Mine
about
doesn't either. Well, soon enough to be wife, but
Guess I got a better wife.
woo.
You
Mine doesn't
Supportive.
support my dreams, but that's okay. My dad didn't either. Um,
Mine doesn't
But-
either. Oh my god.
let's go.
You still get the
um,
milk.
So I think that is supposed to mean shout out Worm from Eric there, that snail. Oh no, that's not. I thought that was a snail. That looks a lot different whenever it gets blown up. Anyways, not important. What was I gonna say? Oh, Eric Murray.
Yeah.
I don't really like that one, but
No.
I will say though, his contract is not that much. I think we guaranteed him like 13 million over 3 years with a max of like 21.5. I think
Murray.
Eric Murray.
Yeah.
The one that I like, or what I like the most about all these signings, though, is that like none of these signings, besides maybe like even Jordan Lewis, not necessarily, but like none of these signings make it to where we can't draft whoever the fuck we want. Like none of these signings we're paying so much money that we can't bring in a young guy, let him compete, and then if they end up winning out the position, like who cares? Most of them we owe them like 3 to 4 million this year and like 8 million next year, and then we have an out. Like we gave them all 3-year contracts, except for De'Ami Brown came in for 1. But like Jordan Lewis, love that signing, by the way. I think Jarian Jones moving outside is what it's looking like. I'm interested to see that. When he played outside in college, he wasn't the best, but he did improve in 2023. 2022, he allowed a 42.7 grade on like 500 coverage snaps or 400 coverage snaps. But he played really well in the slot his last year in college and his rookie year. But it'll be interesting to bring him in, Jordan Lewis, put Jarian outside and kind of see what happens. But overall, I'm happy. I don't think that any one of these moves like decimates our ability to go and get a rookie in the draft. I think it's kind of set us up to honestly go best player available. The Mason Graham pick is more and more attractive to me now.
He's a stud.
He's great. My problem is we have so much invested there, but at the same time, like this organization is showing they have zero loyalty to the last organization's pieces. Like basically the only people that are safe are Trevor Lawrence, Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, and that's about it. So I'm excited to see how we do it, but I would prefer not to go D tackle. But yeah, Murray's definitely better than Antonio Johnson, but he's here to replace Cisco, who he was also graded better than last year. But Cisco moves on to the Jets. I wish him nothing but luck. I like Cisco, but yeah, I'm pretty excited though. I think we had a good one. I'm ready for the draft. We have a lot of picks. I think we have 10 picks this year. So I'm excited to kind of see what happens and go from there.
Hell yeah. As far as the Texans go, we've been pretty busy, and for a team that started off basically under the cap, it's kind of incredible the amount of moves that we've made between small stuff like bringing back Daria Gumbawale,
Lagoon.
a 1-year deal for Braxton Berrios, 1-year deal for Justin Watson, 1-year deal for Laken Tomlinson, 1-year deals for both Derek Barnett and Darrell Taylor, 2-year deal for Mario Edwards, 1-year deal for Sheldon Rankins, CJ Gardner-Johnson. Honestly, that is the move of the offseason for us, as far as a positive one goes. But everybody wants to talk about the Laramie Tunsil trade. Oh, you traded away one of the best left tackles in football. I want to remind every Texans fan of a couple things. The Texans won 11 games with Julian Davenport playing left tackle. Who the fuck is Julian Davenport?
Exactly.
My point. You can
You will not
do
miss
a
Larry
lot
Tunsil.
a lot of things with just competent O-line play.
Yep.
We paid $70 million to the top 3 offensive linemen on our team and got bottom 5 offensive line play. I don't know how many of you guys would keep your jobs if your boss looked at your numbers and they're paying you top flight money and you're producing at a bottom of the barrel level. Unless you work for the government, that doesn't really work.
Stroud, second most sacked quarterback last year.
Yeah. And if you include the playoffs, it was almost the most sacked quarterback in the league last year. There is a lot to be fixed on this offensive line. Laramie Tunsil never once bought in to what any single head coach was spewing out, be it David Culley, be it Lovie Smith, or D'Amico Ryans, hell, even Bill O'Brien. The man could not be motivated for anything other than hefty paydays. And you give it to him, and then he would just, he would go all out on pass plays, run blocking. He'd basically pull a Michael Irvin. For those who are too young to understand what that means, Michael Irvin used to take knees on running plays.
Isaiah.
What's up?
He's too young.
Who?
Michael Irvin used to just literally take a knee on running plays.
First of all, who's that? No, I'm kidding.
Curtis needs to grow a full beard.
I know who he is because he has terrible football takes every Sunday and every other day.
Well, that's the cocaine. That's
But it's so crazy that you have to believe them.
Him and Ryan Clark with their terrible takes all the time. CTE is a real thing.
Irvin makes me laugh though.
These
offensive linemen, these fat 300-pounders have to move these other fat 300-pounders around. I gotta go up and grab the ball from the heavens.
No, Laramie Tunsil, you actually got a good deal on that, man.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad trade at all.
I think so too. I think we freed up like $13-14 million in cap space. We ended up bringing in some other people because of that move. I definitely think that one move facilitates a bunch of other draft needs now. I can't remember, Pelissaro. I think it's like Adam Pelissaro tweeted out the other day that Tom Pelissaro, sorry, tweeted out that the Texans at this moment feel as if Titus Howard can swing over to left tackle. Blake Fisher will play right tackle. Okay. We will have Juice Scruggs and Jarrett Patterson playing either guard or center, and Laken Tomlinson at one of the guards. Look, Kenyon Green was so bad for so long. I'm okay with whatever the hell they're doing at this point at left guard. If you just play average football, that's an improvement. If we can get the same center who doesn't have to be flexed around a guard on either side of the center because of injury, I'm okay. Let one of these guys fucking develop at one position and get good at something. Yeah. I'm okay with that. When Blake Fisher was drafted last year in the second round, I told everybody he was the replacement for Titus Howard because I didn't think Titus Howard had been playing well enough over the last couple seasons after his extension to facilitate him actually being around for the long term. Here he is, 29, looking at 30, coming up at the start of the season. He will probably be the left tackle, more than likely, and Blake Fisher will be replacing him at right tackle. I'm not saying I can tell the future, but I can tell when the coaching staff is giving us a bunch of bullshit in the press conference and then actually having real tough conversations with each other behind the scenes. Laramie Tunsil never bought in. a bunch of other guys never bought in, and those are the guys who are not currently with the team anymore. A lot of these moves are culture moves. They're trying to bring in a certain atmosphere, and I think they're going in the right direction. D'Amico Ryans preaches two things: swarm and iron sharpens iron. Laramie Tunsil was neither swarm nor sharpening iron. So I think we're in a better spot as far as culture goes. I think we got a pretty good draft haul for a left tackle who's playing definitely better than average football, but not up to the standard that he had set for himself not more than a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, I could see us drafting a wide receiver in round 1. I could see us drafting an offensive lineman in round 2 and probably in round 3. I think we have 2 or 3 round 3 picks now because
I think you'll have the most picks in the draft, like 11, right?
I think we got like I don't know about the most. I don't remember counting them like that, but we've got at least 9 to say for sure. But Casario's a wheeler and dealer. He's going to move up and down that board to try to find the guys that he wants. He's not afraid of trading anybody. So I could see a lot of these picks that he picked up in that trade with Laramie being used as trade fodder to pick up somebody he really wants. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, as deep as this class is at linemen, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see them not leaving the second round. I mean, because what do you have, 3 in the first and second now? Because you picked, or was that no? That was the third that you picked up for the Tunsil thing. But still, like,
yeah,
this year. I think next year you got a second on a 26 second. But
yeah,
dude, I don't see how they leave the second round, the first and second round, without grabbing a lineman.
Draft picks are currency, man.
They are.
Well, right. But dude, as good
Whether
as
it's
these
to move
guys
up
look,
the draft, down in the draft, or
man.
get somebody else, it's all currency.
Yeah, I mean, because you could even with your first round pick, you can grab Gray Zabel right there. There you go.
Yeah,
because you're not going to get a Will Banks. You're not going to. I mean, a Kellen Banks. You're not going to get a Will Campbell, Emory Jones. Those guys are going to be gone. But Gray Zabel, oh man, and I like Gray Zabel just as much as I like those other 3.
Yeah. Just because centers are graded a little lower than everybody else for some fucking reason, which makes no sense to me. They're the quarterback of the offensive line, but I digress.
I think Gray Zabel's very utility on the line. He can do everything.
He can play all 5 positions.
Yeah.
The other big thing that happened is we brought in as our 3rd/4th defensive end Darrell Taylor on a 1-year deal for $5 million. Now, if you don't know much about Darrell Taylor, that's fine. If I'm not mistaken, this is the same Darrell Taylor who used to play at the University of Tennessee and who last season had a better pass rush win rate than Trayvon Walker. And he will be our defensive end 3 or 4. That's
for
the Bears.
Much better interior defensive line. Makes sense.
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah. But with that being said, that's not bad company to have as defensive end 3 or 4. To spell
situational guy.
Yeah, to spell Danielle Hunter, spelled Will Anderson Jr. Homeboy
brought Mario Edwards back too, didn't you?
Yep. And we still have Danico Autry on the roster. We brought back Sheldon Rankins on a 1-year up to a $7 million deal. But
I like that signing.
Yeah. I mean, he was good for us. If he can stay healthy, he's fucking solid.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the most unheralded free agent signing that we've made at the point.
I didn't go in with a ton of cap room, so
no. I mean, the Laramie Tunsil move was, in my opinion, basically to free it up,
just to get something out
and to free up long-term money because CJ Stroud's extension will be coming around the corner next year. And not just Laramie, but Titus Howard is in the last year of his extension, with next year and the year after being void years. So, if he doesn't play well, he could very well see himself out of the Houston Texans organization very quickly. So a lot of offensive line turnover could be around the horizon for the Houston Texans. With that being said, gentlemen, let me ask you this one question, and we'll move on. The draft is at the latter portion of April. First round pick comes around. Who are we going with?
All depends on who's off the board.
So I guess I would go first since I'm the number one pick in the draft.
Yeah, there you go. Bert. You
I
were
think
on the clock, sir.
As it stands now. Hold on, I got you on that. Let me see. Oh, fine. Boom. It's a banner that we use over on Titans Table for Two when we talk draft. I think the overwhelming, is Cam Ward.
Bayshawn.
I personally, and I want to hear anything from the peanut gallery up there in the top right. I am more of a fan of Shador than Cam Ward, but I'm
I thought
happy
you
with
watched
both.
football.
Here we go.
There
Here we go. You got him
he
started.
is.
Listen,
I
guys, Shadir Sanders is falling in the draft because of his skin color, according to Ryan Clark. So,
Okay, I'm not Ryan Clark, so
but yeah, Cam
I'm
Ward.
okay with either of those guys.
Yeah.
I like Shador more, but I am perfectly fine with Cam Ward. I like both of them.
Okay.
So,
Jags would be next on the clock, right?
so we can say,
yeah,
Browns are going Abdul Carter. The Giants take the other quarterback, right? Patriots probably take Travis Hunter. So who you got? If that's the way it falls.
So if we sign Cooper Kupp to more than a 1-year deal, if that happens, I'm taking either Mason Graham or I'm trading back for Nick Emmanwari. If we do not get Cooper Kupp, I'm taking Ted McMillan, no questions asked.
Would you be okay if they sit there 5 and took Tyler Warren?
I would not. I don't think that 5 is the right place to pick him. I don't think that he is Brock Bowers in terms of production. And
a lot of people do.
I don't think that he's Gronk in terms of like blocking. I don't think he is worth a 5th overall pick, and I think he's overvalued based on Brock Bowers last year.
Yeah.
If we trade it back to 10, like between 10 to 12, 10 to 15 area, I would absolutely take Tyler Warren there. But at number 5, he's just not worth it.
I'm not sure he goes out at 10, but yeah, I get you saying.
Yeah, I think he's gone in the top 10, but I personally would not want to be the one to take him.
Let me put this up here. I understand I'm in the minority here. We got 2 Cam Ward's better. It's all it takes. They start getting some comments up in here. Let's talk about Cam Ward and Shador Sanders.
Yeah.
I know I'm the minority, and I'm not saying Cam Ward's bad. I'm just saying I like Shador more.
Yeah. He's more of a flair for the personality.
I don't care about that. I just I'm more of a fan of I like Cam Ward's demeanor, quiet, strong leader. For me, it's really just I like the accuracy and timing.
Yeah,
very
and you like Shadur?
That's all he is. He's all accuracy and timing, anticipation.
But he's not.
That's literally all he is. His strengths.
That's the worst part because he's not.
What are you talking about?
That's why he's falling.
I thought you watched football.
I mean, he's not. He's not that good. He played against the worst teams in college football.
Oh, we're not getting into this. Who are the Colts picking, Justin?
Someone better than Shadur Sanders, that's for sure.
Oh, much better, much better. Well, good thing is just for this year, quarterback is not a need. So the Colts have the 14th overall pick as it sits today, right now. So I talked about needing some offensive line help. Now, look, don't get me wrong. This is going to be a best player available. We have a lot of holes to fill. Okay. So me personally, this is me personally. If a Tyler Warren is gone already, because the Bears are probably they're looking at the draft order. The Bears are probably going to take that to help Caleb Williams out.
I guess Cole can fuck himself.
Yeah. Tyler Warren's way better than Cole Kmet. Let's just be real about this.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm a Cole Kmet fan, but I think Tyler Warren's a better fit there. Just because he does so much, man. But anyway,
Let's
so
get Ingram's
I
already on the
wouldn't-
Broncos, dog.
so I wouldn't mind Tyler Warren at 14, but chances are he's already gone. And if this is an if Tyler Warren is gone, and if Kelvin Banks falls to 14, which he should not, but if he does, I would take Kelvin Banks because us losing Fries and Kelly really hurt us on our offensive line. With that being said, if those two gentlemen are already taken, then I would look at Malachi Starks or Colson Loveland at that position, because I don't think there's any outside linebackers that are just worth reaching that high for. I think it's going to come down to Colson Loveland and Malachi Starks. My pick, I'm going Malachi Starks, just because I think you have to stop other teams from scoring points on you.
Yeah.
And he clearly, from on film, what I've seen on tape, and from what I saw at the combine, he checks every box. Malachi Starks is not just one of the best. Is not the best safety in the class. I mean, to me, he's the top 10 in this whole draft.
valid. He definitely played pretty well. I mean, that Georgia defense for years now has been, the toast of the NCAA, churning out players left and right, from Trayvon Walker to Kamari Lassiter and everywhere in between.
Like half the Eagles defense is
Yeah,
Georgia.
literally most of the Eagles defense.
You wouldn't take Mimbu if he's there?
No, I'm going Malachi Starks if he's there.
Really?
I'm taking Malachi Starks over Tyler Warren if they're both there. Now, that's me personally. I know a lot of the Colts community, they want Tyler Warren. I'm down with that. But I just think Malachi Starks helps our team more right now, because we did not target the tight end as enough to justify taking a tight end with the 14th overall pick. You can get a Mason Taylor in the second if you really, really want to shore up tight end.
Yeah, that's valid. Let's see, Bashan. Whoever we get gonna need a miracle unless year 3 is decent because of AR, or decent for AR, because Daniel Jones to the Colts got me embarrassed to be a Colts fan.
Yeah, it wasn't the signing that we wanted, but as far as players that have starting experience and that could be a solid backup, there's worse options out there. I mean, I'm okay with it
you're not
as
gonna
a
go
backup.
sign Darnold or
No,
any of those
guys are
first shore
wanting-
starters, because you're still banking on AR to make a jump.
Mac Jones?
Yeah. So yeah, come on, bro.
I mean, threw more
Just went to
touchdowns.
the,
Threw more touchdowns than what's his face last
just
year.
went to the 49ers.
Hey, that's fine. But no, a lot of the Colts community really wanted Justin Fields
All right, get
to
out of
come to
here.
Indianapolis.
Get out of
But
here.
the problem with
Better than Shedeur.
Jackson Dart, I like Jackson Dart. I'm not against it, but
Not in the number one.
no, not number one. I think you trade with New York or trade back with somebody else who needs a quarterback, and then you can get Jackson Dart number 3, number 4. But a lot of the Colts community wanted Justin Fields for just reasons, right? I mean, he's similar play. Like I like Justin Fields a lot, but he clearly stated he wants to go somewhere and be the starting quarterback. He doesn't want to compete for a job. Anything like that. He wants to be the starting quarterback, and rightly so. I mean, he's learned a lot of lessons, coming out of college, struggling with Chicago and all that. He's learned a lot of lessons. So I hope he does well with the Jets, but I didn't think that Justin Fields was realistically going to sign with Indianapolis. The Daniel Jones thing, dude, we got that kid super cheap. So I'm okay with Daniel Jones right now, because I think if you need him to come in and start for you, he's not going to have the jitters, like an inexperienced guy would be. He can come in and be calm. Okay, I've been here before. Not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so Bashan, don't worry about it, brother. I think Daniel Jones is going to be a good backup quarterback for us until we figure out what our move is going to be in 2026, if either one of those guys is going to be the 2026 starter.
All right.
On to you there, Curtis.
All right.
So as for the Texans, gentlemen, and I might be mispronouncing this name, so if you can help me out. Ibuka
Mecca Ibuka
out of
from Ohio State. Solid receiver.
If he falls down to 25, That's who I imagine the
I think
Houston.
there's a good chance if he
Yeah.
goes anywhere, it'd be like he's in that 20 to 30 range
Yeah,
typically. So
I think he'll fall in that range. I would like to see a situation like the Jags did last season where they traded back a couple times to scoop up Brian Thomas Jr. I'm not holding my breath, but I would love to see that kind of situation play out for us. I think that Ibuka, who obviously already has a little bit of a relationship with CJ Stroud,
Mhm.
would be able to come in and compete for wide receiver 2 or 3 with Christian Kirk. And just kind of disseminate from there. But if for some reason Ibuka is not there, let's just say somebody's just like, fuck it, we need all the wide receivers. At 25, I'm going to try to draft an offensive lineman, preferably an interior offensive lineman. You don't want to normally draft your interior offensive lineman in the front half of the first round. Second half of the first round seems to be a little okay, a little bit more tolerable. Was it Zabel you were saying earlier?
Yeah, that'd
Ray
be a solid
Zabel
pick right
would
there.
be amazing for Houston. I would hate him to go there, but he would be amazing for Houston.
Yeah. And with all of the struggles that Houston's offensive line has had, that obviously is, a big point of contention for a lot of Texans fans, keeping CJ Stroud upright.
When you say interior, though, do you just mean guard, or are you potentially drafting a center?
Potentially a center.
Because I think people are undervaluing Jared Wilson.
Yes, Jared
And
Wilson
he had
is
a
the best center.
phenomenal combine, and he's the best pure center. Zabel adds way more like versatility, in my opinion. But like if you're looking for a center specifically, like he's the guy.
Yeah. Agree.
And I don't know exactly how the Texans organization is feeling about what they've got in Juice Scruggs or Jarrett Patterson. They both offer very different skill sets. Jarrett Patterson can't run block to save his life. Juice Scruggs is an average to below average run blocker.
How tall is Stroud, by the way?
6'3".
I think Zabel's like 6'5" or 6'6". Like he's a big dude if you're planning to put him at center.
Yeah.
Which again, I don't know where they're planning on putting him or what they would like. If he played guard.
I think Zabel's more of a right guard, right tackle.
I think he's more of a guard, but he can play center if needed.
Yeah.
His arms are long enough to play tackle. It's not like a Will Howard where it's just not there. His arms just aren't long enough. Will Howard reminds me of Peter Skoronski when he came out. Dominant college tackle, just arms aren't long enough to play tackle.
I agree.
I think the Texans have a solid backup running back on the roster. I think Dameon Pierce last season did just enough to kind of like, all right, he could probably spell Joe Mixon in the long run. Wide receiver for the Texans it's been an issue for the last couple years. Seems like every time we get to the playoffs, we're so depleted that we've got one guy and then a bunch of scrubs. The goal, I think, for this Texans organization is to have two guys and then some scrubs, and that's up in the right direction. I don't think
pretty much every team.
By the way, I just looked it up. 6 foot.
I mean, most teams usually just have one main guy. If you can get two like solid guys, then you're sitting real pretty if they can stay healthy.
Yeah,
because not every team's going to be T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, right? Like you're not going to have that.
Exactly.
Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson.
And that's why I think Christian Kirk, that move was pretty important for a 7th round draft pick. What we're paying him is not that much compared to what other people are paying. What I would consider lesser receivers like Tutu Atwell or the only other person I can think of is Diami Brown, but Diami Brown's been buried on the depth chart forever.
Yeah. I mean,
and
10 million
just runs deep routes as decoys and then occasionally is open. But $16.5 million for a wide receiver 2, potentially wide receiver 3 is not the worst thing in the world.
Just hope he stays healthy.
But that's the hope with everybody.
Whole team, yeah. Well, it's a little more hope when the person has an injury history.
Yeah, well, and the benefit about what he's been getting hurt with is it's not his legs per se that have been getting hurt. What was it last year? He broke his collarbone.
He broke his collarbone. He pulled his groin. He had
a hangnail.
he had another surgery that was like a lower abdomen injury, like the year before. Like,
Yeah. I mean, again, those the like lower ab injury, the shoulder injury, those are not necessarily huge concerns when it comes to like your leg durability. The growing injury definitely is. Maybe you could stretch the lower ab injury into some sort of problem. I know he comes with some injury risk, but a lot of people come with injury
Yeah,
risk.
yeah.
Hell, Nico Collins hasn't played more than 12 games in his entire career in any given season.
Yeah.
Um,
That really held him back the first like 3 years of his career too.
yeah. So it's part of the game. The hope is that maybe he can deal with all those injuries during the season, and then after the season, in the postseason, they're available and ready to roll.
Yeah.
We shall see. But with that being said, gentlemen, I think we've come to a good spot here to go ahead and wrap this sucker up. So, what final comments do we have?
Isaiah.
Well, I don't
Good to
know.
say.
We keep with the theme and keep going in the draft order.
Bashan, Tank Dell will probably not be available until 2027 at the
Yeah.
earliest. And that might be late 2027 that he makes his return. Definitely not 2025. There's an outside shot that late 2026 he could return, but maybe. I'm
That's a brutal injury.
not putting in my eggs in that basket for sure. Yeah. With that being said, gentlemen, anybody else got anything?
Good, man. Good. That was a good conversation. I think we go through the second wave of free agency, do this all over again.
Yeah, interesting to see what where some of these bigger names are going to end up because we still have some out there. I mean, looking at, based on your position of need, right? So the biggest name out there, right there, that comes with the biggest baggage and drama is Aaron Rodgers. I think Isaiah, you touched on Cooper Kupp a little bit, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Von Miller. I know for the Colts, we're still struggling with outside linebacker, so Von Miller could be a go. Even though he's an older guy, I get it, but
that's really what's a lot left out there is older edge, older receivers. Like Amari Cooper's out there still.
I think Matthew.
Houston could bring back Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks is out there. Diggs, like
Deontay
someone
Johnson.
mentioned Diggs, and then on, like you said, the edges, you have a Matthew Judon, you have a Dante Fowler, you have
Is Uche still out there?
I think so.
Josh Uche?
Yeah, he is. He is. The dude the Lions just dropped, whatever his name was. No, Zadarius Smith, right? Is that what
Yeah. Oh, Zadarius Smith.
Zadarius Smith,
yeah. They just dropped. So there's some older pieces that can be rotational guys at the edge, and then there's some older receivers, and there's some younger ones too. Elijah Moore is out there. He's only 25. But I mean, I actually can't believe he hasn't been signed to some sort of like 1 year prove it deal kind of thing. But
I was always an Elijah Moore fan.
I think when you've got a young, physically gifted talent out there in the free agent pool that hasn't been signed this soon yet, I think that's usually a sign of like
you're not waiting.
Well, no, I think it's more of a sign, like because the longer you wait in free agency, the lower your dollars get.
Yep.
So like, he's a wide receiver that must have a personality trait that fucking.
He's kind of I've heard that before too, actually, about Elijah Moore. Keenan Allen's still out there too.
Hey, y'all! Don't forget Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, I saw that in the chat.
Tyler Lockett has not been bad. Tyler Lockett,
was Jackson
really
Smith and Jigba might be the loneliest player out there right now. Like they traded his friend, they traded his mentor, they traded his quarterback. Cut his mentor, traded his quarterback and his best friend.
It's like when Will Smith at the end of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air just looking around the living room.
Oh man!
Come on, Kenneth Walker, send him somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming on this evening and talking about your respective teams and everything that's been going on in free agency, the trades, the signings, the cuts, obviously. it's important, and I appreciate you taking times out of your evening and your personal lives to come on and talk about it. Go ahead, head on over to Titans Table for Two. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Do the same thing at Kingmaker_DFF and Unstabled, where you can find Justin. Go on over to Third and Teal. Find Isaiah at Duval's Finest on most social media platforms. You can do the same thing with me at Curtis PD Network on X and most social media platforms, at That Real Texas Team Podcast, because fuck the Cowboys. And yeah.
We'll see
Like,
you guys
subscribe.
next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
See
you, everybody,
guys
for
next
joining.
time. Peace.
Give it
How we
all
doing?
people tonight.
Be good people.
Fuck the Titans.
Fuck the Texans.